The American Dream, Myth or Reality? Welcome to English with Billy, the podcast where we explore big ideas, the world we live in, and the ways we understand each other, all while practicing English. I'm your host, Billy, and today we are diving into something you've probably heard about, even if you live far from the United States, the American Dream. We've all heard stories about it. A person moves to America with almost nothing, works very hard, and becomes very successful. They buy a big house, maybe start a business, and live a comfortable life. But is this still true today? Or is it just a myth? Let's learn this new word, myth. A myth is a story or belief that may not be true. In this episode, we'll talk about where the American dream comes from, what it means today, and whether it's still possible for everyone. We'll also discuss the experiences of immigrants and how they shape the idea of success in America. First, let's talk about the origin of the American dream. The idea comes from the early days of the United States. People believed that America was a place where you could build a better life. If you worked hard, it didn't matter where you were from, who your parents were, or how much money you had. Your future was yours to create. For example, imagine coming to the U.S. from a country where it was hard to find a good job or where you didn't have many opportunities. In America, the idea was that you could be free to try new things and change your future. But today, is the American dream really for everyone? That's where the conversation gets more complicated. Now, let's fast forward to today. The American dream still exists in people's minds, but it might not be as easy to achieve as it was many years ago. Why? Let's think about it. The cost of education is very high in the U.S., and going to college is often necessary to get a good job. This can be a big challenge for families who don't have a lot of money. Some students graduate with a lot of debt, or money they owe. And that makes it hard to buy a house or start a business. Another challenge is economic inequality. Inequality means that some people have a lot more money than others, and it's hard for the people at the bottom to move up. The rich stay rich, and the poor find it difficult to become rich. This is one reason why people question whether the American dream is still real. Let's not forget that many people do still come to the U.S. with hope. Immigrants, people who move from one country to another, often work incredibly hard. They want a better life for their children. Take the story of someone like Jose Hernandez, a former farm worker who became an astronaut. He grew up in a poor family, picking crops in California. His parents were Mexican immigrants. Jose dreamed of going to space, and after many failures, he finally succeeded. This is an inspiring story, but it's important to ask, is his story typical, or is it unusual? Many immigrants, like Jose's parents, work low-paying jobs that are very difficult. They don't always find the success they dreamed of. So, we have two sides to the American dream. On one side, there are people who succeed. On the other side, there are people who struggle. Another interesting point is that success means different things to different people. For some, having a big house is success. For others, just being able to live in a safe neighborhood is enough. Let's take a moment to think about what you consider successful. Would you feel successful if you had a lot of money? Or would you feel successful if you had a job you loved and a happy family? The American dream might change depending on what you value. So, is the American dream a myth or reality? Well, it's both. It's real for some people and very difficult for others. Hard work can still lead to success, but factors like where you are born, your family background, and even the color of your skin can affect your chances. I think it's important to remember that the American dream inspires people to work hard and dream big. But it's also important to recognize the barriers people face. Understanding these realities helps us see the world more clearly. Thank you for listening to English with Billy. If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to subscribe for more conversations about human behavior, culture, and what makes our world work. Until next time, stay curious and keep up your English practice.